Welcome everybody to Leadership Lab. I'm your host tonight my name is Aaron Cadieu, and I'll be your host tonight, along with Alex Sabatili-Rager. And we are here to help you go from team manager to director. Purpose of these calls each week is to really create a community for you guys to come ask questions, find out how you can really build your team, understand LifeWave, and take your whole business to the next level. So just so you understand how this kind of works, the first 15, 20 minutes, we usually kind of have a topic. Our topic tonight is really how do you bring people or initial customers into your business, and then how do you convert them into potentially brand partners? Now, not everybody's going to become a brand partner. A lot of people are just going to be customers because they have existing jobs or busy lives, but there are a lot of people out there that do want to do this business. And so how do we take those people, from customers that are really enjoying the product to brand partners? And we'll talk about that with Alex tonight. And then we have a bunch of other questions that we can dive into. So please, anybody that's on this call, and I'll say it as we go on, please throw in your questions in here. This is really helps with our dialogue and making sure that we're answering your questions. And if you're here, I'm assuming that you have some questions and you want to learn more. So anything, there's no wrong questions or dumb questions. Like, we're all learning here, and it's a great place to do it, because if you have a good question, it really helps other people learn about this the business and the product. So please throw your questions in there as we go. So Alex, I kind of brought that up. How do we bring people in as customers, and then how do we, convert them to becoming potentially brand partners?
It's edumacation, edumacation, edumacation. Seriously. Well, first of all, we need to put Aaron to work, guys. So any questions you have, let's put him to work. He doesn't get to sit aside here tonight. Okay, yes, we are talking from, this is the soup to nuts, right? So just before we started the call tonight, now that we're recording, it just kind of came to me how, we are in these times right now. We have this amazing opportunity, this incredible product, and there are people that are trying to copy us out there with their own little patches and their little technologies, and there's a million gadgets and goodies on social media to try to grab our attention away. And so how do we build business and support a brand that we really can stand behind as brand partners, and actually rest our futures to some degree on that, whatever those goals are for you? How do we bring people to get that vision? Because they don't have that vision in the beginning, and you have to know that. You have to know that you are the conduit. Our job to getting paid big money, if we are to, is to bring them through that process. It's not to manufacture the product, do the science, and deal with the money and all that. They do all that. It's up to us to make sure that that person is learning and is growing, is building their belief, that is talking to other people, that feels safe in that gets their objections handled if they have any, and that they can see past the baloney out there and realize that they're resting themselves in a place that is sound and that is proven. And that's the reason for my next call, and the call I do every Wednesday, and the reason why we dive in so deep into the industry and the company, and the David Schmidt, the person at the helm, the research, the patents. Those pieces are what we're resting ourselves on. It's not hype. It's not a new thing. Oh, get in quick. Understand what you have here and take the time to learn what you have here. That's going to probably be number one in building your business, is build your belief in every area: the product, the company, the business, the industry, the marketing plan. Like, every area of those puzzles have to be in place for you to stay the course. Because when S hits the fan in the world, and elections come and pandemics come and all these things happen, it took me out for 3 years, guys. 3 years of my biggest regret ever. It took me out. I let it take me out. I went somewhere else, and biggest regret, because I never faltered on the product, never faltered on David Schmidt, never faltered on the industry. I faltered in the belief in what was happening in the world, the industry in the world, and my own belief in myself. And that belief in self is really important, like really important, probably more than anything. At the end of the day, you can have the other pieces, but if you don't believe in yourself and you don't do that work on yourself, that can trump everything. And for me, that was it. It was really like, oh, I don't want anybody to think like I'm trying to make their money while they're compromised and they're locked at home and la la la. And I told myself all these stories when they needed me the most. So belief in all the things is huge. So I'm going to go over to build331.com and just bring you back to the system itself. But again, it's up to you to decide on maybe do this, grab a piece of paper or consider, and this would just be a typical coaching thing for me to do. Let's just, on a scale of 1 to 10, subjectively rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being really low, 10 being the best that there is. And sometimes I flip that, so just heads up. But in this case, 1 being really low, 10 being awesome sauce, the best. Okay. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in the areas of my belief in this product, my belief in this business, opportunity itself. So that would include just like the opportunity. I guess you could factor into that the compensation plan and your belief in the proof that this can be a successful model, right? Because we've seen somebody like Onyx and many others be successful. Your belief in that, your belief in product, company, I'm sorry, product, the business itself. So that would be the compensation plan, right? The ability, your own self and your own ability, which will probably be an area to work. And then the industry itself, the kind of the industry that we're in, that we're playing in. It is network marketing, and it's also, the industry of the growth factors and stem cells and that. So it's a unique blend there that I hit all of these up on the call. So product, industry, the compensation plan itself, and yourself. So those 4 areas. And then when you go into build331.com, which I'm going to do right now, if I can. Hold on. Glasses. Me and my eyesight. Not so good. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go in here and we're going to go to step. Obviously, compensation plan, step 8. This is part of those 4 beliefs. Are you seeing compensation plan? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you don't have to know this like in and out, but you got to know enough to know where you're going next and what's possible. If you do not know what's possible or where you're going next, you want to reach out to your sponsor or your sponsor's sponsor or get on these calls and ask. Okay. That's important. And then the compensation plan in more detail, you will find different trainings here on the bottom of this page. Again, you don't have to understand it inside and out, but continue to learn your next step and get the vision for the end goal each time. And then before you know it, you're always going to be able to lead the person behind you. And if you can't, punt them up to the next person above you. Seriously. Because they're still in your team and you're going to learn with them, but you got to give them the support they need. So it's okay if you don't know enough, do not hold them back. Just know where you are and be humble enough to punt them up to the next person if you don't know. I have many, many, many reps that are like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I got this person or I've got this person. And I'm like, let me make it as easy as possible. Let me show you how to introduce them, how to get me on a 3-way call on a text, and let's do it together. And you can learn and take notes, record the call, whatever you need to do to learn while we go, but we're not going to hold you back. We jump on every opportunity. So know where you are, know where you're going, but don't worry about the whole map. That's my point with this. And then what I wanted to talk about before, and I'll totally break for a second here before I go into full on monologue, but what I really want to go into is the series of educational exposures. I cannot say this enough, how important this is, because everyone's going to be on their own journey. And I know one of the questions tonight has to do with tracking people over their journey. And so this really ties into this really beautifully. So I think it's Deborah who sent that question. This is going to be important. And it is inside of our training. So I believe I think it's in this step. If it's not in this step, it's in Grow Your Team. Maybe it's in Grow Your Team. Let me see. No, that's all soulful selling. Okay. Now it's in step 9. I think it's the 331 training is what it is. Let me see. That's the comp plan. Where's the 331 planning training? Do you know where that is, Aaron? Maybe you can find that. The Build 331 training. It's a basic. Maybe it's right here. It's on page 1. There it is.
Yep.
Okay. So on step 1, guys, 331 system. This is what I want to talk about. And this is so important. And I was working with somebody, actually two people this week, but one in particular. And she was like, so she signed her people up, which is great. And then she sent them an email with their username and password and said, hey, if you need to adjust anything, here's your username and password, go for it. Well, they didn't get the email. Their next shipment, their auto ship went out, she'd done the verbiage around the auto ship and everything, but because it was in their hands, they didn't know to mark their calendar or do anything to make sure that shipment was coming. She didn't have it into a system for herself to check in before that shipment went out. She trusted that she'd already done her part, which is totally, nobody's getting thrown under the bus. We're all doing the best. And this is a mistake we all make at least once. And then we learn and go, no, I'm not going to do that again. And so in her case, the shipment went out and the guy called her and was like, right? Like, I wasn't ready for that. I'm not using them fast enough. I'm not quite on track. And the biggest mistake we can make is to let a shipment go out that's not expected because they don't feel in control of their own money. And that is like the biggest faux pas we can make, is for somebody to feel like they're not in control of their own money. Somebody just spent their money. And I know that we build in this whole, like, we want to get them on auto ship, and that's really important. But if we're not on top of letting them know your auto ship is coming as part of our follow-up system at week 3, like, we need to make sure, otherwise we're going to push it out until we touch base with them. Like, we will do that. So I keep their password that I create. I tell them, do not change your password until you are in control of your account. I will manage you like a customer, because yes, you came in as a wholesale person, which is awesome, but you're still just a customer to me. You just got a good deal and you're sharing it with your wife and your daughter or whatever. Or you just wanted a good deal, and I'm still basically managing your account for you, with you. You're just getting a better deal. But my job is to take that person who's now in my wholesale account, in my downline, in my left or right team, and help them become more than just a customer. I want to make them a raving fan customer. That's step 1. We want them to use the product regularly, be ready and expecting and excited for that next shipment, and then moving them into actually starting to think about other people and sharing with other people, and then potentially making some money with that. And that is a series of calls, exposures, as I call them. It's a series of exposures, which can be videos. It can be posts that that they've gotten on Facebook or whatever, Instagram or whatever. That you're sending it to them. You're sending it specifically to them. Check this out. I thought of you. What do you think of this? Who do you know who might benefit from this? You're calling them. You're talking with them. You're talking about the results that they're getting. You're sending them a video. I just saw this new video with David Schmidt and blah, 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 right? That series of exposures is what's going to bring that customer who thankfully came in at wholesale into your team, into somebody who's going to use the product and stay on the product. That's our first goal. Use it, stay on it. They are not a rep just because they're in your team. That's what I need to get across to you. They are not a rep. They're not a brand partner. They are a wholesale buyer. That's why I say that on my next call. I say, come in at wholesale. You have a brand partner option. It's optional. And we need to help them get to that optional place to get them to actually extend that information, their enthusiasm, their results, their testimony, whatever, to other people, their heart. And that's our job. That's what we do. We get them educated to start with. We get them educated to move to the next step. We get them educated to the next step. And all of it is done with love and service to others, and a sense of, how do we get more and more people on this now that you're getting results and you're consistent? And, when you have that spirit behind your business, you can rock this business. I promise you, you can rock it. But it takes 3 to 5 to get a solid customer. It might take 1 to get them on the product, 3 to 5 for them to actually be using it regularly and become solid user, 5 to 8 for them to be like a raving fan, like, oh, I'm loving it. I'm getting results. I'm aware of my results. This is really exciting. I think I might tell somebody about it. 8 to 10 or 12 for them to be like talking about it, like seriously, like, okay, I'm ready. And then 13 plus, where you have a builder. somebody who's going to build this. They get the vision, they want to do this, they see the dollars, they see the freedom, whatever it is for them specifically. And each one has its own conversation to it, right? What do I need to help you get solid on taking the product? And then the next one is, what do I need to help you to really track this and think of other people and start considering talking to other people, maybe making a list of people. How do I get you then next to actually start reaching out and then looking at maybe why you might want to do this and how this could change your life a little bit and start to build a little bit more coherence between the business and the product results. And then you take it to their why and like, what can this be for you? How can this make a difference? Now, I say this in this linear short or like longer fashion because underneath everything that we do, this is the path. That being said, somebody might go from 0 to 15 exposures in one day, right? Like me, I do that. I binge, right? If something makes sense to me, I will binge until I know exactly, right? Like, and there are those people. I would say they're 1 to 3% of people will do that. And they'll just gonna be like, I get it, I see it, I'm in, give me the diamond pack. I'm going gangbusters. They still need to build their belief. I will tell you that. They might jump the cart, like get ahead, jump in. They still need to go through the exposures though. So I hope you hear that. They still need to build that belief. Now we watched Melissa do this, Erin. She jumped right in. She knew, she saw it. She's seen other things. She's like, oh my God, I can hang my hat here. She still had to go back. And especially when she started to get stuck, she still had to go back and build her belief in the company, in the industry, in the compensation plan, and in herself. And she continues to do that on all four as she's moving up, right?
She's a binger, just like you.
Right. But she still has, we're all still going to get stopped on the beliefs that we're not solid in. And we still have to go through that set of things to change us. So that's what I wanted to wash over you guys today. It's really big and it is the foundation of your business. And yes, I talk about it in this thing, but I just want you to sink it in because I don't want you to get disheartened when somebody comes in and they're all excited and they're loving the product and they're getting results and they're not giving referrals or there's missing pieces and it's up to us to figure out what they are and to feed them little exposures, another video, another piece of the, hey, did you know this about the industry? Hey, did you know that the stem cell industry, yada, yada, yada? Did you know this about like whatever? Find those pieces to build your own belief and then share it with anybody that's at that spot in your business. And then look at the next one. Okay, how am I building my belief in myself? Do I have doubts? Do I have this or that? Find something there and then share that with the people that you think could benefit from that. Make yourself available for those things. And that's what I really wanted to share because that's what's going to bring you from a manager that could be a manager for 4 days or could be a manager forever, right? And beyond. That's what's going to bring you to the next levels. Honestly, it really is. And it's not about you. It's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your success or doing things right or wrong. Everybody's in their own place. But as we continue to set a pace for ourselves, maybe I want to bring in 3 silvers a month, right? Maybe that's the pace I want. 3 silvers a month. I can do that. I can do that. What do I need to build in myself to believe that I can do that? And how do I, and you start doing that. And then how can I build the vision for those silvers? Because I've done it now. How do I do that for them? Let me find out where they're at. What can I send to them? And then help, you just bring everybody along with you. But there's no free ride here. Like we become leaders, and again, some of us have, experience that we built in another company, perhaps for years and years and years. We've all gone through the same stuff. Nobody's lucky, blessed. Oh yeah, they just got lucky. They found this at the right time and oh, they've done this before. And then you judge yourself against those people. Don't do that because they had to do it somewhere else. We all had to go through it all. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. And it's 4:20. So that's our 20-minute training for now. And I know we got more.
I think
Monologue over.
well, you can go. I love it. I love it.
All right.
I never want to cut you off. So just to go back, and I think you made a really good point is, you you have to view people initially as customer. We get excited. We want people to get it the same way that we do, and they sometimes haven't even used the product yet.
Right.
So I think the whole idea, and if you have that mentality of, hey, get them as a lover of the product first. The whole idea of someone becoming a brand partner and wanting to do the business, that will come. I think and there is those rare people like my wife Melissa that she just knew she wanted to do the business. She loves it. And I think that's going to be a very small portion of people. And I think the first and foremost, if you keep this like a business, this is your business, and if every customer, and you have continuous follow-up with them as if they are your customers, checking in with them, making sure they're doing okay, and educating them, as you said, these people are going to, they're going to feel good, and they're going to be using the product. And it for some of them, it's not going to be everybody. Some of them might want to become brand partners, right? And you've set the foundation for them to help build the business because you're showing them how to do it by just treating them like great customers. That's the key.
Exactly. And I think that that's also important. People will do what you do. I always say it. I'll say it again and again. If you take care of your people, they're going to know that that's part of the job. That's part of what we do. They'll do what you do. If you don't take care of them, then they're going to be like, oh, well, you didn't do that. So, and I'm at fault for that for a little bit, actually with Melissa in reality. Not that I wasn't totally transparent, but this summer when she came in, I was like this close to re-engaging fully with LifeWave, and I knew that I was going to, and I was getting really ready because I had disengaged regretfully for too long. But I knew what I loved, and I've been using it forever. And it wasn't that I stopped loving it and using it. It just wasn't, it was what it was. So she came in, she was all excited. And I told her, I said, look, I'm just finishing up these couple certifications and I'm rebuilding my site. And, these things are happening. So I'm not going to be everything that I would normally be. However, I will be, and I promise you, I will be the best sponsor, to you. And that's important to me. And so, and I stuck with that. Right. And then I think it was just before I started doing these calls, when Onyx said, okay, you're in. Awesome. Let's do this. Cause we've done this before together. And she's like, you're it, you're on. So I stepped up when, there was a shift in leadership kind of in the team, and, which was exactly what I wanted and needed, actually, to be honest, you guys. Like, that accountability is huge. And then I called Melissa right away. I was like, Melissa, like, I'm going to be there. Like, I'm going to be doing these calls and stuff. And I can be everything that I wasn't, and then literally, almost immediately called her in because she was already like starting to excel. And I'm like, okay, Melissa, I want you in here now too. And like, I'm not that far ahead of you. I'm really not in re-engaging. It doesn't mean I didn't have other experience, but it doesn't mean I'm better than anything. So it was really fun to like lock arms and kind of do things in that way. But it doesn't mean that, we are all perfect at any one time. When we model for our new person, we can always go back and say, look, I wasn't fully all there. I'd love to model better now. So if you have people on your team now, and this is my whole point of this monologue, if you have people on your team right now that you feel like maybe you didn't, or not even on your team, because team would mean they're active. If you have people in your organization, in your, whatever you want, or downline, I guess you could say. I don't like those words, but whatever, on your left or right team. And they're wholesale buyers, and they're just using the product, and you're trying to make sure that they're using the product. You can go back to them and say, hey, I'm re-engaging. I just watched this thing. It really got me excited. And I'm like fired up to do this. I don't know who you know, but I'm looking for anybody that I can reach right now. And maybe you can help me reach the people because I can't do that without you. Can I show you a way to really easily refer? And of course, I'll make that worth your while. If they decide to order, I will make it worth your while. It's as simple as a three-way text. And then you literally do it for them. You write the text at the introduction, like sample text, and say, just put their name in there and introduce, and I will take it from there. And if anything happens, I'll loop you in, and then you can see what I'm doing, and maybe it'll be a fit for you. If not, I will happily take the referrals. Happily. But if you want to get paid, we'll have a different conversation. I'm not trying to recruit them. I'm trying to thank them for opening up their market, their people, to me, and that's a part of the step of that series. They may not be an active brand partner, but they might be willing to give referrals and work with you on that. And slowly, when they suddenly have, people that are coming in, they might be like, maybe I could use a little bit, or something changes in their situation. Or they're like, well, I guess I could pay for my own products. So it's stepping them up one step at a time. And don't worry if you didn't show up that way in the beginning. It's totally okay. You can always go back. Always go back.
And I think one of the things that Melissa and I have been talking about is kind of setting up some quote unquote some automations. Like everyone comes in no matter what, they come in as a new customer. So how do you set some stuff up so you can educate them where you don't have to remind yourself to send them a text or do these things like, and there's a lot of email services that allow you to do automations where you can,
Yeah.
hey, you can send them a congratulations email. They just got their patches, and you're going to know that they're going to get their patches in 5 to 7 days,
Mhm.
maybe even quicker, right? So within that period of time, you can send out, some automated emails that
Mhm.
as soon as you drop their email and after they purchase, they're being educated, and they can go back and watch that when they want. And it could be a key video from David Schmidt. It could be something that Alex and Melissa are talking about. It could be, and this is customer based. This isn't even them becoming a brand partner yet, but you could build out a 3 week email sequence that you're just educating them on an
Yep.
ongoing basis, right? And yes, they're not going to watch them all, but the fact is that they're probably going to watch 50% of them, right? But that 50%, one, saves them having to go out and search for all this stuff. If you're feeding it right into their email and you're making it so easy to educate themselves about the product, being hydrated, all of these simple little things, they're they're only going to get better results from the product. They get better results from the product. They rave about it to their friends, and either they come back and share that with you. Yeah, maybe they have a full-time job. They don't want to do this, but they're gonna come back to you and say, "Hey, I've got a friend that wants to do this. I'm just gonna give them to you." Or, "Hey, can you show me how to actually set this up? I wouldn't mind making a little bit of a side money, a side hustle." So I think the first and foremost is you've got to be the best customer service person. That's kind of, it sounds kind of cheesy, but that's the truth of it. You really have to be great at customer service, and you have to educate everybody on this because it's not a, oh, this is super simple, right? There's a lot of little intricacies besides just putting a patch on. And
Yeah.
when you talk about it, you have to understand it. So I think by building these sequences out also is you're helping educate yourself. You're finding the best video that for yourself educated you. You're finding the, best piece on, information or study or whatever it is for you. And I think that those little pieces that just shows someone, hey, this could be a legitimate business. I could get on board with this really easy. So
Right. And every single touch is an opportunity to share your heart with them. And that's what's received. And so you can automate some things. If you don't have an automated system, you can just pre-write them and just have them like in your own files in somewhere where you can copy and paste and set your own schedule.
yeah,
Uh, you can do all kinds of things. I still think it's super important to at least get on the phone within the first week
yeah.
and before their first shipment comes out. So make sure that you do those two calls. That's critical, critical, critical. So they feel in control. So they're using it properly, that they're not using it or expecting bigger results. Like you can do so much troubleshooting early that you can't do later when they decide to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. You don't want that to happen. Meanwhile, you can have a whole series of your favorite pieces, right? Like I have a favorite science video and da da da. And please don't ask me what are you sending? Da, da, da. Like it's going to be unique to you and it's going to be resonant with your own heart, and that's really important because that's going to come through. It's not that systemized. We really do need to be personal and listen to their needs and what's going on, and just have our own arsenal of things that we love that we can send that works for them. So, with that said, I know we had a question about that had to do with this about the follow-up. So let's go ahead and hit that one up, and then let's see what we
Yep.
have in the chat so that we don't run out of time.
Where are we
I think it
here?
had to do with the system I had talked about before with the tabs.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you could walk us through your 331 tracking system. with the use of a binder that separates and lays out dates of a calendar
Right,
from the first to the third. I've
right.
set one up like this and started to take notes, customers and prospects. I think you said you place their paper under the date of your next meeting. Could you walk us through your system from
Yeah.
start to finish?
Yeah, well, it's start to finish as I can. You're gonna make it your own, but it's a good start. Is kind of how I look at it, more than a start to finish. The idea of this one, I don't remember which one we did. So just to reiterate it, if you were to get, if you like paper, I do like paper, and I actually use, what's this called? The Oak Journal. Every 3 months, I get a new Oak Journal, and I just have my daily stuff and all my notes and everything. And then they're literally, I have a stack of them on my bookshelf now for every 3 months. And they're dated. That's kind of my working document. And so similarly, if you were to get a binder and you get 1 to 30 tabs, this is what I've done before. You can also do A to Z if you want to just have people by name. But honestly, I think 1 to 30 tabs, where 1 is the first day of the month and 30 is the last day of the month. Obviously, you might fall short a day. Um, I find this great because on the front end of it, you can do your memory jogger or your like list of people, where I suggest at least a page of everything about a person that you want to share this with. I talk about that in the Soulful Selling series, step 9 on Build 331. Yeah, grow your team, step 9. Go through that Soulful series. It's all about but just literally mind dumping everything about each person that you know, everything about them. I'm doing this with somebody right now who's getting started, and we have her dream team pushed up front. So the people that, because she just came in at Diamond, she's like, I want to find my diamonds first. So she's doing her whole list, but we're sliding all the people that she thinks are going to go with this and run with this with her up to the front of the list, right? So that we can have a discussion about those people together, the leaders, because I'm a leader. She may not be able to speak to them. She's going to have to lean on me with those leader types, the people, because that's where she's going to learn really fast. She's going to get a running team really fast, and she can make the most out of her diamond. Upgrade. She didn't. Yeah, she upgraded. Yeah, she upgraded from silver to gold and then gold to diamond in the last promotion week, right? So she came up, and so she's working on that, and then we're going to get together and coach on it. Like, we're going to talk about each person. How do we approach them? Do we get on a call together? Do we invite them? Should we go face to face? Like, what's it going to look like? So all of your memory jogger, all of your list goes in the front of this 1 to 30 tabs. These are the people you have not yet talked to. And then once you've reached out and talked and taken an action and you've taken notes on that sheet, you move it forward into your 1 through 30 tabs to the date that you want to reach out to them next. So today's what, the 20 whatever. So you'd put them in. Today's what, 25th, 6th, 7th? I don't know what today is. So yeah, let's say I want to call them. So I just reached out to them today. I want to reach out in 2 days. You move that paper 2 days ahead, 2 numbers ahead from today's date. And then they're in there. And then when you come up to that date, they're in there. And you do the same with however many. Like if you're doing 331, you pull out your 3 next sheets, you reach out to all 3 of them, you do whatever you need to do, you get help from your sponsor, whatever's going on. You reach out, you send something, and you put them into that next date. So you have a note for yourself. This is my next step. And it might be they ordered. Next step, you always have a next step. Next step, send them email number 2. Send them email number 5. That's to build their belief. Whatever it is for a system that you've created for yourself. Let's say you set up 10 emails for the first 2 months. 3 months. Let's say 3 months, 10 emails. So they're going to get 1 a week or whatever, however you set that up. But you also want to talk to them and call them. So the whole second side of that page, or maybe you have a second page for them and they're stapled together, is literally next step, next step. Every time you touch them, you write down your next step. Oh, what's next? Do I need to send an email next, or am I going to call them next? Whatever it is, and then you put it in that date, and then you forget it. And then when you come to that date, you've got exactly what you need to do that day to follow up with your people. And then if you have time and space to bring in a few more from the front of the list, then you bring a few more in. So your 331 can be as balanced as possible. If you don't, and you had 5 people in your follow-up and you don't have time for your new 3, that's okay. Then fine, do that the next day, whatever you need to do. But that's how the the tabs work. And it's just a really handy way to kind of get things going. And then you might find you're more techie and find another way. That's probably as gritty as it gets right there, you know? And you can write it into your journal for the day. You might look at, okay, who's next today and put it into a time slot if you want, if that's important to you. Like, okay, I'm going to do my follow up between here and here, you know, like that. That's fine. So you're not leaving it up to chance. Like, I've got 5 people today. Okay, they're going to go in this window. And then tomorrow you look at your tab and you've got 7 people. Oh my God, that's a bigger day. Okay, I'm going to put them in here and I'm going to put them in here. And you put that in your calendar. So you block out the time to honor your follow up. And then you see if there's room to put a few more new ones in. And you kind of work it like that. Every day is different and new. There's no rules to this. But your accountability to yourself and your faithfulness to following up with your customers is what's going to move your business forward and grow those people to be so excited that they do join you, and never attached as to whether they do or not. It's really up to us and them to, you know, to engage. But if we don't give them the opportunity to learn more and get excited, they won't. Their life is life. They just won't. So that is our job.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope that answers.
So I have a question. She said, I signed somebody up who was pumped up to share and signed up one person on each leg. As time has gone by, she has become inactive. Last launch lab, there was a discussion. It is 7 months and she is still a PB. So it seems they have 1 year before they are moved to PC or retail. Confusing. Please clarify.
PB, okay. PB is PB. No, it's PB?
BP.
BP. Business BV. BV is business volume. PV is personal volume. I think that's what it means. Okay.
Yeah,
Personal volume is your own orders and the orders of your preferred customers or retail customers, people that are not in your business downline. That's your personal volume. That's what needs to be either 55 to maintain qualification or 110 to be able to earn, to be at the gold, you know, to hold higher levels. So qualifying for bonus qualification, you know, the bonuses.
Sorry, Sally's meant BP as a brand partner. She is still a brand partner, so
right. Okay. So she's still a brand partner, but she's not active. So for number one thing that just immediately came to mind, and I taught this before, I think on this call, the reason why we want to sign our first 2 people up, we want our people to sign their first 2 people up on the shared business leg, the shared line that you share with your sponsor. So if you put your person in on your left leg, have their first 2 people go in on their left leg, is because number one, we don't know if they're going to stay in the business. Perfect example. Number 2, we want those 2 new people that came in, obviously, to be supported, but also to have potentially other volume coming from upline. So they can be excited and they can see, oh, wow, my business could be growing. And this was the case with this gal I just upgraded. I put her on a leg. Obviously, I build everything, but I put her in and I showed her when we went in to place her first customer in the same shared leg. I'm like, okay, we're putting her down here on the bottom of this leg that we were all on. And she said, what is that number? And I said, that's how many people are in your downline already. And she said, what? And I'm like, yeah, there's 41 people in your downline since you started a few months ago. And but I said, but you kept your business qualified. So you kept 55 PV. Now you're at 110 because now we upped you. And she's like, there's 41 people. And I said, now that doesn't happen all the time, but yeah. And she's like, oh my God. She didn't know what it even meant. It was just exciting, right? And that's what can happen. And so when you put those first people in on that strong leg, whatever your strong leg is, that can get them excited. So I really want to make that point. If you're building, put them on your builder leg first. Have them put their first 2 people there so that they don't, if they fall out, they keep moving. But how to get her re-engaged is just like anybody else. It's the same series of exposures. Pull out your 5 most excited reasons why you're still doing this and what's happening in the business, what's coming, something new that you watched, whatever it is, and just say, let's revisit this. How are things going for you now? Have a dialogue. What's happening in your world now? What would it mean if we restarted this? We can always restart at any time, so it's a dialogue really to get her reengaged. But I wanted to make sure I use that moment to be able to share why we put those first two on the business leg, because this is not uncommon. They get excited right away, but they don't have immediate huge success, and then they can kind of falter a little bit. So, and that's
Yeah.
normal. It's normal.
Yeah, Sally's asking if she stays inactive, how do you move her to a customer? And I
It'll
don't,
happen automatically. If
yeah,
she goes inactive over a certain amount of time, they'll literally revert her into a preferred customer, and she'll stay right where she is, but not really where she is positionally, because if she wants to rejoin, then she's starting over somewhere else underneath. So she'll just convert to a preferred customer in your back office. So she'll still be your customer.
yeah. And maybe that's something you can just even let her know too, Sally, like having that conversation with her, right? This opportunity, just staying active, what that means,
Yeah,
right?
keep your spot. You never know when things are going to change. Let's make sure you get an order in so that you don't lose your position, because it's growing underneath you and you never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like to instill a fear of loss, but it is truly, there is a potential of a fear of loss there. So it is important to just be honest about it. Yeah.
Another question here. Just hold 1 second. Um, could you elaborate on a couple possible scenarios of getting friends together to create a team of four making managers? Of creating a team of four making managers.
So yeah, so
So,
I think on one
yeah,
of my trainings, I said, grab four people, get them to
yeah,
silver and build a bit and start to build your business, right? Yeah, you can get to manager really quickly by bringing in four silvers. Four really good friends come into silver, get them on auto ship, you're a manager.
yeah,
But we want to extend that vision to them as well. And basically, whatever got you excited and whatever you can plug them in to help them catch the vision for them. Again, it's going to be a dialogue. What would it mean? Do you want to get your products paid for? What would be your first goal? And who do you know? Let's get a list together. Let's talk with my sponsor. Let's figure it out. Like, these are my favorite pieces. And it really is just, um, I mean, everybody's unique, right? Everybody's going to buy for their own reason. So there's a definite touch point with each person to build that vision, but you can do it individually. I mean, get your person excited to get the people together, but then you're going to talk about each person individually. And depending on the situation, again, I love doing little events, whether it's Zoom, not my preference. Definitely in person is more my preference, but it's harder to get it happening. Like, I have this woman right now who I just was with her today, and I mean, I'm working with her also on my business, so we're doing other business together, but she's like, oh, I've got this person, and she just keeps pushing one next week, because she can't get everybody together. And I'm like, forget it. Let's just do individuals, like, I'd love to do the group thing. It'd be really fun. And I know in person's great. And she was even saying, she's like, well, this one gal, she's like, I can't invite her though. She just doesn't stop talking. She's like, she's really sweet, but she won't even create any space. So you just don't know. Every situation is different. But so with her, it's going to be like a small group, and then it's going to be a couple of individual groups. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. But the goal is always the same. What do they want? What do they need next? Who do they know? Can we get them starting with a list and get them excited? And then what's the best way to group them? Can we group them and leverage time and do it all together and get that excitement going? Because that's my favorite way. Or do we just need to do individuals? Do I just have them send a text, a group text between the three of us? And then I just keep, I send information and we get on a call. I don't find that to be my favorite, honestly. I mean, it's really effective, but it's not my favorite. I would much rather any day meet over coffee and spend the full hour with somebody, because I can take them from here to here in an hour in person, where I can only take them from here to here on a text or a phone call.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I can take them, like, yeah, 3 steps into their vision when I'm with them. And so that's another piece about those series of exposures. How far can I take them? Like, what's the best way that I can take this person from here to here? Of course, reinforcing it with more exposures, but like to really build that vision and build that camaraderie and that excitement and that you're part of a team and people want to be part of something. And that's hard to get most days, the way things are sold these days online.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. We can squeeze
Well,
another. What else we got?
I think that's all we have for questions tonight,
All we got
unless
for
anybody
tonight, you guys?
drop in another
Drop in
question.
another one if you guys have anything else.
Yeah,
We got the ones that were sent in. I think we covered a lot.
we did cover a lot tonight.
You got another one?
Yeah. Oh, your how do I get your number, Alex? This is from Sylvia.
Hi,
How can she?
Sylvia. I can't give you my number, but I can give you my email just because I'm busy. Um, nothing on YouTube. Okay. Just because I can't just take calls, but I'm more than happy to take your email and see what we can do. So it's Alex, ALIX at sweetspotpower.com. Actually, let's type that. Let me type that in. Alex at sweetspotpower.com. Oops, that's not a dot com. That's my email. Perfect. Awesome, Sylvia. Thank you. Anybody else?
That's it. That's
We're
it.
good. Sally,
Thank you,
thank
guys.
you for your questions today. Appreciate that. Love it. And yeah,
Everybody joining us too tonight. I really appreciate that. So, if you haven't been on Alex's calls on Monday night or Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, she talks about X39 and then she does a great introduction to the business also. So, if you have people that are interested in the product and you want to, you don't feel super comfortable explaining it, get them on one of these calls. And so she'll be back in about 15 minutes. So if you want to stick around and listen to that call, that'd be great.
Yep. I'll put the calendar up in just a second here for the different trainings, and I'll be back here for Launch Lab next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, where we're talking about getting started. So all the people that you bring in, getting started, checking it out. How do I launch this thing? That conversation will be happening Wednesday. Thank you, guys. Thanks,
Thanks,
Aaron, so
Alex.
much.
Thanks, everybody.